Good morning. At last, it's time to start sowing some summer annuals, regardless what the weather's doing outside. So I'm not sowing everything. I'm going to start off with a few things. I'm certainly not sowing cosmos. I'm not sowing the zinnias, sunflower, anything like that. They're too quick. They don't need to go in yet. Another couple of weeks before we do those. Otherwise, you just end up with tall, leggy seedlings. So what I'm starting today are a few of what I call the slower maturing variety. So I've got some Verbena. These are all annuals, by the way. So we have today, I'm going to do some Verbena hybrids. Julia will put pictures up so you can see what all this stuff is. Some Brachyscome mixed. Some Phlox. These are all annuals. So again, Phlox Drummondi, a mixed variety. Another variety, another Phlox actually, Twinkling Beauty. I can't remember what these look like. They look good in the catalogue anyway. And then I'm doing some cut flowers. And again, used to do a lot of cut flowers. So it's time to get back into that again. Now we have our sweet peas, obviously. We're going to be doing some chrysanthemums and some dahlias. But these are Dianthus. So your pinks that you see in the florist. And these are specifically for cut flowers. So I have 3 colours here. But again, Julia put pictures up. So let's get started. Three-and-a-half-inch pot. Nice little green ones. Got these for the African violets actually. So I had to buy a box of 2,000. So I figured I didn't need 2,000. So I thought, I'll use a few of these. I like these because they're squat. They don't use quite so much compost and they're a little bit broader on the top compared to my normal 4-inch ones. So I do quite like these. Now this one is Tagetes. Marigold, French Marigold. So French Marigold is the little small tiny flowered ones. The African Marigolds are the big flowers, orange, yellow, this big. This one, although this one germinates quite quickly, it stays really nice, short and stocky. And I like to have these flowering before I plant them out. So by sowing them now, I'll have these flowering for planting out probably around about the last week of May. Not a lot of seed, big seed. So sprinkle these. I'm getting in the casting a shadow, aren't I? Can't do it left-handed, sorry. And then just cover with a little bit of compost. Not too deep. But what you will find with these, it happens every year, is you'll find that they germinate. They tend to all germinate at the same time, which doesn't necessarily always happen. And they do start pushing the compost up a little bit. So if you see them starting to lift the compost up, just give them a little sprinkle of water and it'll settle it back down around them. Doesn't them no harm. So that's the first one. These are all the ones I'm showing you now are all going to go into the propagating bench on a bit of heat. So the heat will be around about the 68 to 70 bottom heat. And they'll sit in there till they germinate, move them over, prick them out, and then away we go. The Rottweiler's panting and whining in his box. So this is Verbena. It's a hybrid sensation mix. On your palm of your hand, little sprinkle of seed. I hope you all like the sound effects. It's not me, honestly.
It's definitely not me.
It's the Rottweiler having a slurpy drink. So that's the Verbena. Again, little sprinkle, very light sprinkle. Don't need to firm these in. They're sitting in nicely in the compost. So the last little sprinkle, little tap down, and that's it. So as I say, they're all going to go onto the prop bench. So I'm going to go on, get all these sown, the annuals. Now we do have one slightly different one.
And all these annuals, they all get done the same way?
Yeah, pretty well. There's not a lot of difference. I mean, the only variation is going to be how deep you sow them. Just look at the size of the seed. I mean, if you've got that Verbena is quite a chunky seed, so it wants a little bit more compost over the top. If it's a very fine seed, so for instance, I'm going to do this next. This is some of our own collected seed, which is
in a sample jar.
Yeah, do you like it in a sample jar? Oh yeah, it's pink campion, but I'm going to sow these slightly different. No, just a plug tray. Compost, this is the same, pretty well use the same compost for everything. So this is peat perlite. This actually has got a little bit of I had a little bit of potting compost on the bench, so I just mix that in. Makes no odds for this. No fertilizer, you do not need it. So we have a plug tray. And I'm just going to make a very shallow, again, the old dibber finger. With these, all I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little sprinkle in each little... Julie might have to zoom in for you to be able to see. Now, this is a UK native. Semi-shade. Edge of woodland is the ideal spot for it. We struggled at our previous property to find the right places for it. We didn't have a lot of woodland shade. We have lots here. So these will be planted on the edge of the woodland, around the perimeter of the property where there's some shade available. But these will not go on the prop bench. These will just go straight out into the polytunnel, onto the raised bench, and they'll germinate in their own time. Do not need any heat for these. There are many things, even some of the annuals. So in a minute, we'll do sunflowers. I'm not going to put those on heat. They'll just be put in the greenhouse. Just a very light sprinkle over the top, and then just rub your hand over it. So this will go straight out into the polytunnel. I'll give this a good watering from above. I have a very fine rose on the end of my Hall's watering can. Best watering can there is. So you can see how fine that is. So this is what I'll be using for watering everything in with. Fill your tray, fill your pot. Don't press it down. Give it a tap. It's using soilless compost. You need air, as much air in it as possible. You firm it down, it goes too tight. There's a lot of seed in here. This one is Dianthus, Joanne. It's a French. I'm not good at French. That's what it is. There we go.
Jean.
Oh, is it Jean, is it? No. Oh, could be. Anyway, there is a lot of seed in here. It won't fit into those little pots. So yeah, as I say, quite a lot of seed. Looks a bit like onion seed. So I'm going to sow this into the tray. There's too much to go into a pot. And again, just sprinkle it around as best you can. Spread it out. And there's almost too much here for the tray, but it'll be fine. In fact, there is too much. I'm just going to sprinkle that amount. And then I have that left, so I'll put that into another tray and make 2 trays out of it. So the reason, let's get that back in there. The reason for sowing thinly, a couple of things. Obviously, once the seed germinates, it gives the seed room to develop. Secondly, the better air movement, the more space around these little seedlings, the better. There's less chance of damping off. I don't have problems with damping off, other than those lobelia I showed you. That was just me trying to get a bit more germination. So damping off, I definitely don't have an issue. And damping off is generally caused by, it's a watering problem and a heat problem. So as soon as they germinate, off the heat. And then be very, very careful of your watering. And if you're using domes, so these are domes, a lot of people are using them. I've never, ever used them. The only reason I use them for the rhododendrons because the seed was just dust-like. But normally, don't use these at all. But as soon as you see germination, get these things off, whatever you've got. And then just watch your watering. So that's the Dianthus. So sown, and then just a little as usual, little sprinkle of compost over the top. Nothing too heavy. Give it a little tidy up. And again, that'll be put on the propagation bench. And then once they're all put on there, I'll water them all overhead, all at once. So onion, it's that bloody word again, isn't it? Onions, without saying sow.
Well, you did sow them.
I sowed them, but yeah. 4th of the 3rd. As soon as they germinated, came off the heat, they went on to the unheated side for a few days. And for the last 4 or 5 days, I've actually had them out under those crappy pink lights. They are now ready to go out into the poly house on the raised frame, which is keeping just around about 2-3 degrees, which is just about nice. So they're going out. Some Achillea, 4th of the 3rd.
And what Achillea is that?
This is a variety called Colorado. It's a perennial variety. It's a really nice mix of pastel colors. So again, you can see how short and stocky these plants are. And that's good lighting. Although they have been out under the crappy pink lights, they haven't been out there long enough to affect them. So again, these are ready to go outside or into the polytunnel. Celery, again, much, much better germination this time around.
And so why did you do them in the pot instead of...
Because the last time I did them in a plug tray, and I mixed them in with the onions, and because I wasn't thinking properly, I think I sowed them too deep. And I think the germination was awful. This time I sowed them really shallow and just basically a dusting of vermiculite over the top. You can see the difference. So these are still on the prop bench. They don't like to be chilled. So these cannot go out into the polytunnel or onto the crappy pink lights yet.
So then they don't have bottom heat though?
No bottom heat.
Right.
Germination started, off they come. The last one might be a bit of an eyesight challenge, but if I hold it up, I don't know which way, if Julie can see. Can you see them?
Well, I can see them, I'm not sure.
Okay. So this is asparagus. Takes a little while to germinate. It was sown on the 4th of the 3rd, same time as the other stuff I've just shown you. And it is coming through quite nicely. Believe it or not.
If the camera's actually picking them up, but
there's
there's
asparagus in there, believe you me. Now these, although the germination is slow, they are now off the bottom heat. The rest will come on through on their own. So they'll stay in here now. They'll stay on the unheated side for a little bit longer. And then obviously, once it warms up a little bit, I can get these put outside. I'm not putting them on the pink lights. I just don't need to at this stage. So yeah, that's our asparagus. These will probably be 4 years' time before we can harvest anything. So Linda, please hang around. Because you were the one who said you wanted me to grow them.
This is our friend from up in Muskoka.
She insisted I grew some asparagus. So seed, hang around. So rhodies, they've started coming through very slow and very patchy as well. Some varieties obviously much, much quicker than others. Although some have germinated, they're still on the bottom heat. These guys need the warmth. And I mean, there's a close-up of a couple of varieties there. Now, most of these are the big flowering rhododendrons that you see in the National Trust Gardens in the UK. So they won't be planted out. These will be always kept in pots and probably be 10 years before we see any flowers.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So it's just it's a plaything for me. I just like, what? I just like growing things that are different that nobody else has got. And I like to be challenged as well with my growing. So, yeah.
I'm glad you put the growing bit on the end.
I like to be challenged. Yeah, every day's a challenge. Yeah, so they're coming through. I mean, I don't know whether they're all going to germinate or not. We'll have to wait and see. But they're still on the heat at the moment, and they'll probably stay on there for another couple of weeks at least, till I get a better, more germination over more varieties. But I'm pleased with that. Never grown them before from seed, so everything's possible. So until next week, when we're going to start hitting some vegetables. And as Julie said, not tomatoes, not peppers. It's going to be more like your brassicas, beetroot, a few other bits and pieces. We're still doing lettuce, but the lettuce are predominantly at the moment to stay on the bench here to force. We're not doing any lettuce yet to be planted out. We've got a ton of snow here still, and it's still snowing. Actually, it's bloody snowing again today. So until next week, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And we'll catch up with you in a week's time. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.